Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you're watching. I'm Zane Belsack, and today we're discussing inflation. So first, I want to start off with a great statistic I found from the Bureau of Labor, and they said $100 in 2014 is worth only $132 in 2024. So in just one decade, you need $32 more to buy what $100 used to buy. And that's inflation. And it's one of the most important financial concepts that you need to understand. Now, what exactly is inflation? Inflation is pretty straightforward. Prices increase over time and your money buys less. Now, most people hear about inflation in the news or online and they just move on. But what they don't realize is that inflation is constantly eating away at the purchasing power of their money. So if you earn 2% raises but inflation is 3%, 3% is more than 2, you're actually getting poorer. Your paycheck is worth less than what it was. Now, some great real life examples of this that I also got from the Bureau of Labor are things like gas, coffee, rent. In 2014, gas was around $3.30, and then it went to $4.79. Coffee was around $3, went to $5, and rent was $900 or around there. And in 2014 or in 2024 went up to $1,400. And those aren't theoretical increases. You experience them every time you spend money. So really, the impact on your savings at this point is when you have a savings account of, say, and I'll be generous here, 0.5% savings account, and inflation is 2 to 3%. You could also say 2.5%. You're essentially losing money because you have a savings account earning 0.5% and inflation is running, say, 2.5%. You're losing purchasing power. So your $10,000 today will buy what approximately $7,400 buys in 10 years. And inflation has essentially consumed your money while you thought it was being safe. Now, why exactly does this matter for your future? You might be asking. If you're planning to buy a house in 10 years with a $50,000 down payment, inflation means you'll likely need, say, $65,000 or $70,000 by then. And if you're planning for something bigger, like retirement, the amount you think you're going to be needing is going to be significantly higher than when you actually retire. Now, inflation doesn't stop. It compounds every single year. And the difference here is your savings account earning 0.5% compared to your investments, which earn maybe 6 to 8%, honestly 7% a year. And that's just a running average. But you can't outrun inflation by keeping money in a low yield savings account. Your returns have to exceed inflation. If inflation is 2.5% and you're earning 0.5, you're losing 2% per year. And over decades, that's substantial, especially to things like your retirement. But if you invest that same money and earn 7% and inflation is 2.5%, you're actually gaining 4.5% in real purchasing power. So what I recommend you do, especially first, is check your savings account interest rate. If you're under 2%, you're essentially losing money to inflation. Now, it's a different story with money you might need soon, maybe an emergency fund, short-term goals, that can stay in savings. But money you won't touch for years needs to be invested some way in some kind of vehicle. And that's also a future episode that I can touch up upon. But the goal is simple. Your returns need to beat inflation, and that's actually how you build wealth, especially in the long term. So to conclude, inflation it's basically why your parents say money isn't worth what it used to be. I mean, they're correct, but understanding inflation allows you to actually do something about it. So definitely invest your money, make it work. Don't let inflation silently erode your purchasing power. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I will see you next Monday. Thanks.